Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster, live from Chicago, where several of those Texas lawmakers are now, and former San Antonio mayor and former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President Obama, Julian Castro. Shaq, these lawmakers are facing some big threats from Governor Abbott with losing their seats, felony charges. How concerned are these Democrats about those possible repercussions?
Well, Anna, both last night and even in that conversation that you had in the last hour, the Democrats have been somewhat candid about saying that they are concerned about the repercussions of the actions that they have decided to take. But there's kind of two different messaging tracks that you're hearing. On one end, they're saying they don't think that the governor could really act on everything that he's threatening of them. You heard a lawmaker from Texas who is fleeing to New York say that it's just kind of he's making stuff up, in the words of that one lawmaker. But you also have them saying, essentially, it's worth the risk. They're trying to nationalize their actions. They're trying to put more attention on what Texas is doing, what the legislature is trying to move through, and they're trying to get support from all over the country as they engage in this fight. I want you to listen to some of the comments we heard from the party chair last night as soon as they landed in Chicago.
We're not here to play political games. We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
It sounds like fucking political games. How can you be demanding an end to this corrupt shit that you participate in? Your party does it. Why don't the Democrats knock this shit off? Why don't they just tell everybody we gerrymander and redistrict and do things that are favorable to us? It happens all the way down to the cities. City council folks try to do redistricting that's favorable to them. I know you guys probably remember a few years ago, the LA City Council was doing that shit, trying to redistrict the city of Los Angeles and get a fucked up ass areas to the African American city councilman behind his back. And y'all remember that shit? We are one, though. We're just so united and living in peace in this wonderful democracy. The problem is, we have all these Democratic congressmen, representatives, and they playing games. They talking shit about something that they do. If you do it, don't talk bad when other men do it, because you all do it. If you think it's such a bad thing, when the opportunity comes up where you could do it, don't do it. And call that shit out. Let them know we want to. Because we're in the majority, or whenever, if y'all ever get in the majority again, that shit will probably never happen. But that's when you do it. When your heart is pure is when you're in the majority and you know that you're going to be fair and you're going to knock the gerrymandering and all this bullshit redistricting that you guys do, both sides. And it's something that they shouldn't be doing, running out of their districts. And amid the disasters that just happened in Texas. Didn't they just have flooding and shit there? Remember the kids dying and shit? And they need to be in session in case anything needs to be voted on that's going to help the emergency disaster. The everyday running of the damn state and its districts is what you were elected for. You weren't elected to do this shit. People from Texas shouldn't be looking at TV and seeing their representatives in Chicago or in New York, talking about we're not playing games. We're serious here. You are playing games. That's exactly what you're doing, is playing games. Instead of going back home and facing the music. And if your people support you, let them support facts. But don't be in there trying to act like Trump is a king and Trump is a dictator. And then when you guys get in power, you do the same thing, just quieter. And maybe they just don't whine as much. I don't know. You never hear this shit on this level, but now you're attaching all the stuff that you guys have been doing to Trump. He got in there and seen a toolbox full of shit he could use. And he's doing it. You guys have been doing it. The Republicans have been doing it. The Democrats have been doing it. He getting there and like, oh yeah. But he gonna push the gas pedal down a little harder and a little further. And you guys aren't comfortable with it because no one else did that before. Well, you don't get to make the rules when you lose. That's just how it goes. And to see these Democrats, these politicians from Texas, this is what they do. This is what they do. This is Jasmine Crockett's folks right here. This is Texas Crockett, Jasmine Crockett. Why ain't Jasmine Crockett standing up and saying something on this level for her race, for her people? What they fooled us into believing we ain't in last place and then we don't need no help. So we think gerrymandering is more important than doing something for ourselves. Gerrymandering don't even matter for us. They need to redistrict whatever the fuck they want, and we need to quit worrying about it. We need to worry about us. We need to put ourselves in a place where it don't affect us. A lot of people look at this and be like, "You don't know what he's talking about," because you gotta play the game. You ain't gotta play no goddamn game. You playing the game, which is to your detriment. Stop playing the game, and you'll benefit. You'll prosper, and you'll move forward. Remove yourself from the bullshit. There shouldn't be one black politician with this Texas delegation that flew the coop. None. They should be like, we do it. They to be honest. So people know who you are. They know what they voted for. You're not going to get up there and whine and cry like a little baby because it don't favor you at this particular moment. But then when it does, you take that opportunity just like they're taking it and attach it to Trump being a king. And it's terrible. It really is. That the Democrats want to deceive folks into supporting them. Oh my God, this is unprecedented. This is crazy. No one's ever done this before. Bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
We asked them to stop hiding things from the public. We asked them to stop doing things behind closed doors. We asked them.
When you're in the majority, you work behind closed doors. That's the damn benefit of winning. You just get to make the call, make the rules, drive the bus. And they expect a courtesy of, hey, we know you guys are in the minority, but come on in. And if you hear anything that you don't agree with, just speak up and we'll rethink it and we'll renegotiate. No, you're not in power. You ain't getting none of that. It's so unfortunate. And the way he's at the mic talking sounds like a funeral.
To stop attacking Texas communities.
A message that you heard later from both he and J.B. Pritzker, the Illinois governor who is standing right behind him, is that this is about President Trump. They believe that this is a power grab that's initiated by the president. And they're saying that, look, this is not just about Texas, but this is about control of Congress come the midterm elections if the Texas legislature is able to change these maps. That
I don't care how they redraw these districts. I don't care who ends up with what. I think we all can agree that the big cities, Chicago, New York, Boston, Atlanta, you go to these big cities, these are democratically run metropolis city, huge. And all the homelessness. Go to LA, go to San Francisco, go to San Diego, just terrible. And you're like, and they want us to vote for them for what? For what? Let's say they take over and get the majority in their state houses and in the on the federal level in Congress. What is that going to do to us? What has it done for us? Why don't the Democrats just change their approach? Why don't they openly come out and say that wasn't working, so we're going to try this? What Trump is doing is something different. It's something new. The shit might not work. But why keep repeating the same thing that the Republicans before him were doing? Being nice with the Democrats, being friendly with them, and the Democrats just pushing along their agenda and getting all the stuff they want, for the most part, only to give us more homelessness than anyone could ever have imagined, more racism than anybody could have ever imagined. Even amongst the poor, you got the poor fighting amongst the poor. And with the right amount of money and capital put in the right places, that could be eliminated. If someone wanted it to happen, they don't want that shit to happen. All they want to do is play the political games so they can have power, so they can do things that they want to do, their own personal projects, things that they think are important and that make the people who gave them money and funded their campaigns satisfaction. They're not getting funded by homeless people. That's why homeless people are still on the streets struggling. They're getting funded by the business owners. The business owners that hired illegal immigrants, the business owners that exploit workers, the business owners that are unfair and hire based on your race, depending on the position. If you're Hispanic, you can flood into some job markets, but then if you're Hispanic, there are other areas you go to and you find yourself not being as welcome. We deal with that as black people. And we need to get our politicians to really work for us, and we need to get these black politicians to take those kind of symbolic steps, because that's all it is some symbolism bullshit, and step out then. And they say, hey, Jasmine Crockett, where you going? What's going on? We're about to vote in here. We need you back. And that's when she needs to speak up and say, fuck that, I ain't coming back until you guys do X, Y, and Z for my people, which might be a little unrealistic and a bit of a reach and quite new. They ain't going to be used to that kind of shit. But when they see other politicians in other cities pop up, I think one that's capable is the lady in Cincinnati, the one who said, I said what I said, over that brawl that happened out there. We need politicians like that if you said what you said, fuck it. And you just have to stand on it. But you also have to stand on something for your people. There has to be an ongoing fight for black people. There just has to be. If you sit back idle or try to incorporate yourself too deeply into the fabric of the United States government, that is almost a guarantee that nothing good is going to happen to black people. And it's almost like acknowledging to them that what they're doing is good and just keep it up. We need to stop it. We need to let them know this is unacceptable. We need to go another course. We need to go another path. Your treatment of us is unfair. We need to show them real apples to apples and oranges to oranges and how they respond to other groups that appear to be having problems with brutality of any kind in society or from the police, and as opposed to how they react to us, how they act to our large numbers of unemployment and diseases. And can you believe black people in this country should ever be sick of anything, sick from any kind of physical ailment or mental ailment? They've experimented for decades and decades and decades on us. You think they'd have it figured out. And with the money that they've made, they could at least give black people free health care. Just for the experimentations, for the little metal caps with the wires sticking out of it and shit, cutting people open while they still alive with no anesthesia. You know, that kind of shit.
Win them Republicans 5 more seats in Congress, Hannah.
Chad Brewster in Chicago for us. Thank you. Secretary Castro, what's your reaction to Governor Abbott's threats? What would it look like if Abbott actually tried to take action against these lawmakers?
Yeah, Abbott has gone, you saw there that clip on Fox News. I mean, huffing and puffing, that's more animated than you'll usually see Greg Abbott. But he's gone into this kind of full-on Trump-like authoritarian mode, threatening to remove these legislators.
That's how you legislate. Rather than going to Starbucks and chilling until them motherfuckers decide to come home, you do that. You start letting them know what are within your capabilities, what's in your wheelhouse of shit that you can do to respond to them. They did something, obviously expecting a response. I don't think they're stupid enough to think that the Republicans are going to say, okay, come back. We won't gerrymander. We won't redistrict. They know that shit wasn't going to happen. So what they're doing is harming the people who put them in office and taking away from days that they could be on the job legislating. Instead, they fucking around in Chicago and having funerals on the mic with a bunch of sad Democratic mourners standing around with their heads bowed. It's sick and it's stupid. And we need to quit playing games. The Democrats play games with us day in and day out. Hey, the other day, Kamala Harris announced that she wasn't running for governor of California. Like, he didn't give a fuck. She wasn't going to win. That's why she didn't run. Somebody came there and was like, you ain't going to win this shit. And others think, oh, yeah, she's saving herself for 2028. She's going to run for president again. No, she ain't. Because she will have to go through the primary this time, and she will not win. Kamala Harris cannot come out of a Democratic primary to win her. It ain't happening. And we don't like her no more now than we did back in 2020 when she was one of the first to get out. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. And right now, this redistricting stuff we're going through, it is what it is. That's what they do. And they get on there and try to play like it's such of a terrible thing and Trump is such an authoritarian. Well, he's doing the same things that other presidents do, or he's at least doing what is in his grasp of authority. and what he can do. He's out there administrating and making shit happen. And people are mad because it isn't what they would do. And you just have to campaign harder. You just have to take $1 billion when you make $1 billion on a presidential campaign in 3 months, and you have to use it not on Beyonce and the Migos, you know that no. You have to use that to really pour it into the community to let them people know you really care about them. Can you transfer campaign funds into something else other than just going out and can't you make it for the people in the community? $1 billion and you're spending all that in what? Media, entertainment, your own private little coiffers. What's going on? How did you lose $1 billion and not win? And ain't nobody mad. Everybody's still, not everybody. Let me not piss some of y'all off. Not everybody. Some of us get it. Some of us really do. But for those of us who don't, honestly, do you really think Kamala Harris has a chance? Do you think that she campaigned in any way that made her stronger as a candidate, made us look at her stepping away from Biden and go, whoa, there you go there. No. Whoever we run in 2028 is not a household name right now. It's not a person that we're thinking about. Somebody is going to have to make a meteoric rise. And then the little things that Jasmine Crockett's been doing is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a real move, a real person who's going to give us a sense of, yeah, it's something different going on in there. I like to vote for that person. I like to see if they're going to do some of the things that they are stomping on this campaign trail about, which they never do. But gerrymandering and redistricting, hey, this is big boy sports. People get, hit in the mouth. Shit get rough. And you can't cry and whine when it doesn't favor you. You have to come up with a better response that gives your people a sense that you're on the upswing, you're on your way, but you're not defeated. But you're not in the winning seat yet. But you're not defeated. We appear to be defeated as Democrats as a whole. Democrats seem fucked up. They seem lost, despondent, wandering around, and so much so that the Texas delegation is in Chicago and New York. So that talk about wandering far from home for nothing. And possibly get in trouble. I hope Greg Abbott, to the full extent of his powers, does what he can do. If there is a punishment for walking off your job like that and not representing the position that you were sworn to at every minute of every day, now there's some things that you can do to protest votes and to protest movements and to protest ideas. But when you start protesting the governing of your state, when that's what you're elected to do, yeah, and I think we need to relook this kind of stuff, see what's going on down there in Texas. And where's Crockett at? I don't see her.
And also, in addition to that, also threatening to charge people who give campaign contributions to them. These are ordinary citizens who make campaign contributions, threatening in his statement last night to charge them with bribery. So this is insane. It's well beyond anything that Governor Abbott, or I dare say another governor, has done in situations like this. And we have to remember that this is a familiar move for Texans. Democrats left the state in 1979. They left the state in 2003 when, at the behest of Tom DeLay back then, they tried to do mid-district redistricting. They also left just 4 years ago in 2021. They went to Washington, D.C. So what I think this does is this buys some time. Who knows how it'll play out, but it ends up.
Well, you should know how it's going to play out. You're a legislator, not you, but those people in Texas who left out of there to delay and stall, but not to know how it's going to end. You got to have a strategy. You got to understand what you're doing, or what are you doing? You're just stalling. You're just wasting time. You're sabotaging. If you don't have a plan, then what are you doing? You're trying to figure something out. You're waiting until an idea pops up. That ain't the way this government is supposed to work. And then in Texas, it looks like the gerrymandering is going to happen. And the only power that these politicians have is to leave. So when they show their faces again, if they're not locked up at that time, this could get really ugly. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but it sounded like Castro was kind of insinuating, in the other times that this action has been taken, which means they throw tantrums periodically. No one's ever responded to them like what Abbott is talking about doing. Well, maybe someone needs to. And whether Abbott knows it or not, he's protecting the Democratic people in that state by making them bring their asses back and face the music. Win your elections. Win shit. And you won't have to be walking out and protesting and like that, because it's going down. It's about to happen and nothing you can do about it but get on TV and whimper. And if that is the way for the Democrats to garner support, then who would want to be one? Who would want to be a part of that sorry-ass party sitting around at a party drinking Kool-Aid and talking about the Republicans and what you shoulda, woulda, coulda did?
Buying time, I seriously doubt if Greg Abbott's threats are going to come to fruition.
There has been some criticism that because these Democrats are leaving the session, it stops the passing of other needed legislation like that disaster relief following the historic flooding there in Texas. What do you make of that argument? Could these Democrats face backlash from their voters, do you think?
Well, I think potentially politically that's more of the danger here. And it was very telling, Anna, because I expected the first statement out of Greg Abbott's mouth to be, hey, you guys need to come back. We need to make these improvements for flood safety for Kerr County. Remember that a month ago, we're on August 4th, a month ago on July 4th, began the Kerr County floods and more than 100 people died.
Well, that's a damn Democrat talking about his Democrats who walked off in the wake of these floods that just happened, and they need a Republican governor to get up there and say, hey, we got floods we got to take care of. No. That right there in itself is an admittance that they're being deficient. They're not doing their job up to par. There's absolutely no way that shit is acceptable. And he can try to make it look acceptable like it's normalized. You can't normalize it. And if I was Greg Abbott or any governor and my lawmakers did that shit, I'd take real action and not hold back and not play this game and allow them to be successful with slowing down the process. Because it's going to happen. The train's coming.
Including 36 children in those floods. They called this special session, the governor did in Texas, saying that they were going to do something to keep the people of Kerr County and other places safe. They didn't put that on the agenda first. Instead, they put this redistricting effort at the request of Donald Trump. So it was telling today that he didn't say that. He didn't say we need to get this done for flood safety. Instead, it's still all about this redistricting effort.
Well, if you redistrict in a year and a half from now, we'll be talking about a Republican majority in the House and the Senate, as opposed to sitting here saying some other shit that Democrats shut down our redistricting effort and have a slight majority. I mean, you got to do what you got to do for the big picture and not be sitting there worrying about some flood victims that the Democrats are obviously ignoring. You're there. You're where you're supposed to be. You might bring up gerrymandering first, but in that session, we can get to the flood bills or relief packages or whatever the fuck they gonna do, as opposed to not even being there. Let that sink in for a minute. How serious are they about really helping the people who put them in office and they not even there? They just fucking left. Crickets.
Should tell the people of Texas where his priorities really are.
Redistricting or not, Democrats are already facing an uphill battle because of the Republican majority there in Texas. Aren't these lawmakers maybe delaying the inevitable with this move? Is there anything that could actually stop it from happening?
You know, if history is any guide, I think what it does is it does delay in each of.
And that's what I'm saying. If it just delays, then they need to get back in there and get to work so that all this terrible stuff that they say Donald Trump is going to make happens. We got to get it moving. We don't want to get too far into this presidency and you guys done dragged your feet and then you're going to complain. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. Yeah, because you're trying to stop everything that they're trying to do. if this gerrymandering shit happens on the Democratic side, let's look at California, let's look at New York, we know. So let's not play like it's some unprecedented shit and that people believe that it's unfair. It's unfortunate to fool people into believing those Republicans, they're so terrible, they'll do anything. And then in 3 years, we'll see them doing it. But nobody will be, demonizing it this way. It's just got to stop. It's ridiculous. But the big part of it, let it not stop. Let us stop. Let us cut this shit out. Let's quit watching the ping pong ball go back and forth. Ain't we tired of that? Let's have a hand in it. Let's pick up one of the paddles. Let's figure it out. We can do a whole lot better than what we're doing and letting these laws. Where's Jasmine Crockett? And what is her word on this? And is she speaking out too much on this gerrymandering and not on how they've been blackmandering us? We're tired of being blackmandered. We want to be treated right. We want the same opportunities and the same love that everybody else is getting. And we see it. And they bring other black people or other brown people in from other places, and they treat them better than us. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. To know that people can come in here from another country and stand in any line in this country that a citizen of this country isn't qualified to go stand in. It's a problem with that.
The times before, eventually, this redistricting has been accomplished. They need 101 people there, is my understanding, to have quorum. And right now, since Democrats have 62 seats and about 55 people are actually out of the state as of last night, there are more than enough Democrats to delay this. The other thing at play here is it is very nationalized, as Shaquille said. And so this could have the effect of putting California, which
they need to lock them up. They need to lock those people up. To walk out your state like that, just because you want to delay gerrymandering that you do, man, if they didn't do it, I would be completely understanding what the fuck is going on. But I have no idea what this man is talking about and why the Democrats left, other than to just sabotage and slow down and not work for your people, not be doing anything for your people. That's a terrible thing. I mean, I can't in any way support that or get on board with that. Not at all. Because it's nothing. What the fuck? Where are they going with this? Nowhere. They eventually going to have to bring their asses back. But if I was him, I'd lock them up. I would lock them up. Fuck that. Lock them up. Let them eat a few mystery meat sandwiches in there. I'm telling you, put them in a holding tank with some real criminals and shit. Don't make them have to get in a jumpsuit. They can't be walking around in no business suits in the holding tank. Nah. Process them in. And let them spend a night with people who ain't, sharing the last name they share. Some people who've been arrested for something that you might not want to be in the cell with, but it is what it is. You get to see what other people in the country are living like, and that your little games, you could be doing something to reform that atmosphere that you hopefully will be a part of, because they need to be arrested. And maybe they could do stuff and see things differently and quit worrying about the game of politics and not what really can better people's lives and people's situation, and have black people standing around looking like idiots, and all of the support and all of the resources and huge cities and states being named sanctuary in the name of illegal immigrants. That's a slap in the fucking face. To be a black person in the United States and hear of a sanctuary anything that anybody got and we ain't got one. It's a slap in the fucking face.
it seemed to be on a full steam ahead path to redistricting themselves in response to Texas. This could put that in a wait and see approach over there. We'll have to see what happens.
All right, Julian Castro, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time and your perspective.
Actually, we don't. I never liked him anyway. I never like a lot of Democrats, and even some Democrats that in the past I've supported just because they were Democrats, and that's about the dumbest shit you can do because they are so bad for our race. It doesn't even make any sense. You can go on and on until the break of dawn talking about it, and they know it. And they know it. Think about it, you guys. We are completely Democratic for the most part, except for a small percentage of us. And they are not all in on us. They really ain't. They are not all in on us. They run the departments in these sanctuary cities where these black people get beaten and killed. They run them. They're the mayors. They're the police chiefs. It's really sad to think that they can just do it right in our face and it be as effective as it is because they made us fear the Republican Party and Donald Trump and that we're going to lose our democracy when it doesn't even feel like a real democracy to most people. When you're not over here with a bank account full of money, when you're not over here with nice clothes or all the other things that they're telling you are going to be taken away from you with the Republicans. And you ain't even got the shit. Make that shit make sense. Anyway, folks, gerrymandering is open season. It is what it is. Neither side likes it when the other side's doing it. We get it. That's like getting in a boxing ring and your opponent hits you with a jab in the face and you're like, oh, shit. And you complain to the ref, hey, man, did you see that? He just hit me in the... Well, you know what? Newsflash, you can hit him back. And that's the end of the story. Like, comment, share, and I appreciate the support. Please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.